Hello, everybody! I know you probably didn't miss me, but I missed myself recording myself talking about books. Anyways, here are the books that I read in January 2026, and I apologize in advance that there are not that many books that I read this month, mostly because, perhaps that I may have played a little bit of too many video games again. Well, Ghost of Tsushima was a lot of fun. Is it groundbreaking? No, but it is very, very long, and it ate a lot into my reading time. Also, I apologize about the previous video being a little bit lackluster because video games are my other hobby, and I didn't want to make a PowerPoint, even though it wasn't that many books. So, whoops, we're back to PowerPoints again. That's my bad because no one watched that video. Oops. Anyways, so a little bit of a life update. I just recently returned to so the first 2 weeks of January, I was in a further area because I was commuting 1 hour away for work, and that means that a lot of times my audiobooks were the thing I was listening to. So, with that being said, there are a lot more physical books than audiobooks. And a word of advice to anybody, you cannot manage a 40-minute drive, all right? A 40-minute drive to and fro, because that turns into 90 minutes because of traffic and snow, and it's crazy like that. So, audiobooks were very helpful. And I know that Jim Butcher's Stormlight Archive. What? No. I was looking at the Stormfront. The Dresden Files. Oh my god. There are renowned for being some very good audiobooks. So I listened to the first one. I read the first one a while back. I liked it. I heard that Full Moon was supposed to be really bad, like a sophomore slump, and I didn't think so. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know why I put blown away. I guess I had really low expectations because everyone was trashing on this book. It was good. I would say it's on par with Stormfront. At least the first half was actually pretty interesting, with the promise of this little murder that was going on. And I like the intrigue of the murder. Harry Dresden is still pretty cool as well. But I would say that the prose is a little bit pulpy, which kind of adds to the charm. I think that was the intent. It does use a lot of similes that I do not like. I think in the first book, with Stormfront, it was making allusions to Edgar Allan Poe, and he was saying that his cape was going up like Batman, which I just don't like. It kind of takes me out of it. So, I mean, it adds to the charm a bit while I'm just shaking my head at it. So it's kind of like whatever. It kind of adds to the charm, I guess, where it seems like it's lowbrow literature, but it's still entertaining. But the one thing I really can't pass is how misogynistic it is, especially the female characters, where we ogle at their bodies a lot, and they are described to be very attracted to the Harry Dresden. Not in love with it, but there were some, I'm pretty sure it was pretty good bisexual representation where it wasn't seen to be male gazy, so it had that going for it. It does feel like a male driven Buffy the Vampire series, so much so that like this fits squarely within the 90s of how it was written, which like it's cool. And I mean, I jokingly said like it feels like if you were going to make an adaptation of it, it would air on primetime with commercial breaks and probably have some really low budget visual effects because it kind of fits that vibes. And in terms of the narrator, narrated by James Marsters, who I think was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it was neat. You could tell that he wasn't putting 100% into it, mostly because there wasn't much inflection. It was just very monotone, I want to say, and people say that this is how the character should sound, and I liked it. It works. I was more immersed with it than a lot of other audiobooks because less is more. It just like there was a lot of lip smacking, and I don't know. I mean, I liked it because of that, not because of lip smacking. You should not be smacking your lips, I say right now. Oh, and there was a lot of swallowing as well. I don't know if that gets better in future books, but I think it was interesting to listen to. I think he adds a bit to the charm. I am going to try to keep up with my audiobooks, so I will try listening to more of the series because I just feel like I think I got over the worst of it because I think the next book in the series is a lot better, and then it keeps on going on because it's more of a cohesive series rather than a few anthologies. Anyways, the next book I'm not supposed to be talking about. We're supposed to record an episode today. Question mark. I don't know if that's going to be happening. Annihilation by Jeff VanderMeer. It's good. That's all I'm about to really say about it. I barely remember the movie. I know the movie was a little bit different. There's a strong emotional core to it, tying it with grief, but I know it's Lovecraftian. I know that you're supposed to really suspend your disbelief a lot, but it's kind of pushed a bit with how OP hypnotism is. You'll know it when you read it. And I know this is a trilogy. I'll probably check it out if it's at the library, because I bought the first book, and the cover is actually really nice. But I don't think I'm going to be so far into the series. I mean, it's 3 books, and the books are relatively short, too. So, it was a good read. That's all I have to say. I'm very scared about recording this podcast episode, because I don't know what I'm going to be saying about it. So, go check it out, I guess. It's not the strongest endorsement of all time, but hey, it's a book that I read. So the next book I read was Some People Need Killing by Patricia, Evangelista. I read this because I am very familiar with what was going on when Duterte was elected, and I am Filipino. I feel like I'm doxing myself here, but I was well aware about the elections going on in 2016, seeing the contrast and the similarities between what was going on in America and the Philippines, with the rhetoric that was going on and promising a lot of perhaps alternative ways of disposing people that are unwanted. And it is a lot crazier than I thought it would be. It is very bleak, not a very happy read. It's a lot more depressing because I thought it was just kind of crazy about it, but I was reading about the stories and the encounters that was going on and how quickly, even before Duterte was elected, how callous he was and how I don't want to say how crude he was with his rhetoric and things that I can't even repeat on here. But it's kind of just shocking to read. So, yeah, it details a little bit about the Filipino history, and it kind of makes me shocked that I don't even think the book kind of explains it as well as it could have, about how the Philippines went from this almost bastion of democracy after overthrowing the Marcos regime, because the Marcos regime was also probably the most corrupt Filipino regime in history. It was a dictatorship, and how they essentially overthrew them non-violently, and eventually somehow they elected Duterte. The book doesn't really go into the details about the election. I think there's one chapter about it, and it describes why some people voted for them, but en masse, how they essentially backslided from being the country that overthrew the Marcos regime without firing a single bullet into this now, where they're hiring people to dispose of people that are addicted to drugs, is kind of shocking to me. Kind of wish the book went a little bit more into that, but again, I think the journalistic intent of describing some of these events is probably the more paramount thing to be talking about. It is cruel. It is very cruel, and I'm not very happy to read. So it was very shocking and interesting. I would definitely really recommend this book if you're looking for not answers, but more of a description of something that has been going on for a very long time. And I think it has marginally gotten better with the election of Marcos, but I wouldn't even say that. It's just there's less torture and cruelty going on over there. So very, very shocking read. Next thing I will be talking about is Hamlet. I am currently reading through all of Shakespeare's greatest works. There are some books that I kind of just don't want to read, or plays, sorry, to the purist out there, that I'm just not very interested in reading in, and I would rather watch a production of them instead. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be killing me for not wanting to read The Merry Wives of Windsor, so, whoops, sorry. So, anyways, I read this in high school, or really watched it, because my English teacher was very adamant about watching it to understand its beauty. And even then, I thought it was the greatest play I've ever seen, even though I didn't feel it. This time, I'm actually feeling it, of how great this play is. I feel like, yeah, it deserves its reputation of being the greatest play of all time, the greatest story, fictional story ever told. Not through its plot. I mean, the plot is still very interesting, even how many years this was written. But how it gets into the inner psychology of Hamlet, especially with the to be or not to be speech, or soliloquy, and how it entirely plays it straight with just his depression. I love the ambiguity of his characterization, if he is pretending to be insane or if he is actually going insane, how cruel he is. And I know it depends on the production that you watch or how much it leans into it, but this is where I say that reading the play kind of benefits you, because you are the director, you can interpret it, because Shakespearean scripts, I was going to say screenplays, books, reading it kind of leans into the fact that you don't know entirely what's going on and it's up for interpretation. So you may not understand every single aspect of what's going on, but you will enjoy it. Your ears just kind of have to attune to the dialogue. All right, and the last bit of news, I'm also currently reading the Fagles translation of the Odyssey. I'm around book 5, probably going to hit book 6 today. I'm enjoying a lot more than the Iliad, because I understand it a little bit more, probably because of pop cultural osmosis. And I swear we're going to record a podcast episode on this. I know we've been pretty bad about it. But yeah, so far the Odyssey, I really like how it's starting out, because I expected Odysseus to show up. But no, it's a secondhand account so far. I think book 5 is when it switches up. So that was interesting. I know spoilers for a 1,000-year-old story, but whatever. But yeah, those are all the books. I could have read a lot more, and I do plan on reading a lot more in February, even though it's little bit of a shorter month, so I can't really cheat with those couple extra days. But I did make some resolutions this year, specifically regarding reading. I take New Year's resolutions very seriously. Every time there's a bit of propaganda about how everybody drops it, I double down and try to adhere to it even more. Not perfect, but I like to think that I am pretty good with it. All right, first resolution is to scroll less and read more. I bought a lot of magazine subscriptions. I'll probably make a video about how I think about each newspaper and magazine. I sub to the New Yorker and the Atlantic, which are both magazines. These are digital only. Actually, no, the Atlantic I have a physical edition of, because it was only $10 more. The New Yorker, though, is insane with its prices. $52 for the first year, and then it goes up by like almost $200 for the second year. It's crazy. I'll see how I feel about it, but so far I really like the articles on both, especially with the New Yorker, when it has articles about books. Those are very interesting and very well written too. And also I have the New York Times. I've had the New York Times for a long time, ever since I found out that, one, I could read it with my college email, and once that was gone, I started reading it with the library, and that's how I've been reading it mostly. I do not recommend getting a New York Times subscription, because the price of $300 a year is crazy. So make sure you can check with your local library if you can get a subscription. And or I think I've seen people exploit the New Year deal, where basically if you say you're about to cancel, you can keep it for $52 a year every single year, which I think is a very good price to have. Try it out. But, having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. And now the second one, I really want to have and achieve, I'm between a few books right now, is to read one very long book, independent of the book club. Because I always say that I'm going to read one long book a year. I think it's time that I try to pave my own path and read something else. I kind of want to get rid of the philosophy of reading, of buying a book where I have to justify the page to price ratio, where I can only spend $20 on a book that is only 700 pages or more, because, I'm getting more bang for buck. It's not really panning out, because I've got plenty of very long books on my shelf where I don't plan on reading them immediately, but now I really have to change that. So, yeah, I kind of want to make sure that I read all of them, for good reasons, because I do plan on moving out pretty soon, out of my house. So yeah, and I this is also a bit of a throwback to when I was just starting to read independently from school, like in middle school, where I picked books based on how interested I was rather than how many pages there were. So I was reading The Green Mile when I was like in 8th grade, which may not be much, but like for middle school me, that was something. That was a good book. Oh yeah, and okay, and the next bullet point is for me to offload. So that's why I'm trying to read a lot of the big physical books that I have, because I'm trying to slow down on buying new books, because I am trying to unload a lot of waste that I have of books that one, either don't reflect my taste and I can't really have a good conversation about them. If someone were to look at my bookshelf, no one has been in my room, so that is something that I kind of want to make sure that if someone were to go into my room and see my bookshelf and be like, wow, that's a nice collection that you have, I will be sure to make sure that it is accurate to me and reflects my personality and or taste in literature. And another thing, that I can't physically show off is audiobooks. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be moving or switching my job very soon. So I spent over $100 something on audiobooks during the most recent sale. And well, now that I have a 20-minute commute to work, I'm afraid those are all going to go to waste. So I'm going to try to find a way to make those audiobooks work. I mean, before I used to play a lot of Minecraft and just mine for a very long time. I got so many diamonds that way. Because strip mining is not very intensive, and I think you are meant to listen to a podcast because it's just a very long chore. That's the GOAT audiobook game. So I might start on my Minecraft world, so just to make sure that my stuff does not go to waste. And also, to go back to my first bullet point is, again, scroll less, read more. I mean, I've been pretty good with my phone time. My phone usage has just been an hour and 10 minutes at most per day. Pretty consistently, too. I've also been trying to at least track my time with my desktop. So basically what I've been doing is that I've been removing all social media from my phone and only been accessing it through my computer. And I've been tracking the amount of time so there's a little bit of friction. Even though I know that Twitter is bad for me, and by the way, I changed my Twitter account because I was sending some very spicy tweets that don't reflect the podcast in any way. It's all about me. I think the Twitter handle is JustinNJABC. So you might want to check that out. I think I'll start promoting my videos there from now on. But it's political. It's very political and vitriolic in ways that I am not so proud of. But anyways, I only use Twitter mostly for some memes and for some DMing one friend only. If this friend ever quits Twitter, I'm quitting Twitter forever. But yeah, I spend 20 minutes a day on Twitter, which isn't much, but it's a lot to me. I know people spend hours on that, and I am proud, patting myself on the back that I don't. I view 20 minutes as a boon, so I've been pretty good with that. Reddit has been like 30-ish minutes, and again, I don't have Reddit on my phone. I have Reddit only on the computer, which, again, 30 minutes is a lot. So, yeah. Anyways, my last thing is annotating. This is going to be something that I don't know if I will commit to it entirely, mostly because I do want to give away some books that no longer fit me, but with books that I love, books that I'm interested in rereading or holding on forever, I am tempted to just like highlight in them. So mostly to capture the feelings that I have with my books. I do that with the Shakespeare Folger editions because I am interested in at least reciting the poems or soliloquies or whatever. And especially with the Shakespeare sonnets, I think reading them out loud is one way of doing it, but I think the poem really comes to life if you perhaps get a pen and start analyzing it. So I think annotating is important depending on the type of content that you're reading or analyzing. So I'm tempted to try it for just regular books, maybe just highlight a really cool quote or something. So yeah, and I think one resolution that's not on here for some reason is to make more videos, more PowerPoints, maybe some PowerPoints that are not just related to reading. I have something in mind with the, let's say, the magazine stuff. I intend to at least try to get more people to check out magazines and newspapers rather than doom scrolling through Twitter and TikTok, for many reasons, because I think this has been very beneficial to me. And probably some other things. I don't know what exactly. I know that's kind of the big one. And there's also such a thing as good social media. I know people like to hype up Substack, but Substack, no, it's not. It's pretentious Twitter is what I like to call it. Anyways, in progress. I'm very sorry for all the delays that we've been having and the unexpected cancellations of any kind of video that we promise. RIP the Lolita video. And I know that there's that very lackluster video game video that I made. Again, I would say don't watch it, but you guys didn't watch it, so it doesn't matter. The next book for February, I believe we're going to try to read is The Disposessed by Ursula K Le Guin. In March, we do intend to cover the Oscars because I've been doing that consistently for the podcast. This is the first time that I've been doing it. I've been enjoying it, trying to justify the 3 hours I spent watching the Oscars, now recognizing the fact that, hey, watching and being well acquainted with all the movies and having some movies to root for makes it a lot more exciting. And the last one, I don't know if we're going to be doing this actually officially, but I would like to think that we are, is the Human Condition trilogy for the Criterion Challenge. Each movie is 3.5 hours long, so it would be a commitment. And I don't know what the view ratio is, but we're doing it for us, man. We love cinema. So that would be very neat to do. That is like our year bucket list. If we accomplish that somehow, I would call that a success. So anyways, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter, not us on Twitter, just me. We might have some other social media stuff, but I don't know exactly. And sorry if I sound a little bit sick. I am sick for some reason. I've been inside all day because of the snowstorm that has yet to clear up. So, I don't know. Goodbye, Prometheus.